Giving it enough water to
In your son Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Listen to my older boy.
see. Bikers are not heathens. We pray. We go to church. Hi, welcome to my show, In Life Men. Thank you for joining me on this awesome Wednesday. Oh my goodness, do I have an awesome show for you today? So you know I'm a biker. I love riding my motorcycle when I get a chance to. But today I have a really great guest. His name is Pastor E. And he started a church called the Queen City Biker Church right here in Charlotte.
Right.
And we're going to hear from him because, you know, I'm doing a documentary film as well called Rude Gal Rider. And every time people hear the title, the first thing they think about is a negative title. But if you know anything about the islands, you know that a rude gal is somebody with attitude, somebody that's confident, know where she's going in life. So that's why I decided to try to change the face of the word rude and let everybody know that rude is not bad in some cases. This rude is good. Rude gal riders is good. But I don't want to take any more time up because I really want everybody to hear this interview, and I know you're going to enjoy it because Pastor E is a biker, and he also, like I say, he has his own church as well. So how you doing tonight? Well,
hey,
today.
I'm doing good, Doc. I'm doing really good.
Thank
Thanks
you
for having me.
Thank you for joining me on my platform. I feel so honored.
Yes, ma'am.
And you know, I tried to get First Lady as well.
Yeah, she's at work.
She's at work, but we are going to get her in the studio. So tell us a little bit about who you are and why you decided to have this like brilliant idea that you want to bring the church to Charlotte.
Well, my real name, actually, I'm a native of Charlotte, is Eric Caldwell, and they call me Pastor E. Somebody gave me that name many years ago. Of course, I was a biker first before I was a Christian, or all the above. And when I got saved and went to seminary and all that, I actually was an understudy at a church, and then I became the senior pastor of another church organization, large organization. And, you know, me and the wife would go home, and I would say, you know, I feel so sorry for that congregation, because it was like I would show up for my hour, hour and a half, do church, and between that time and next Sunday, it was all biker. Then I show up for church, we do church, then we leave, it'd be all biker. Mm-hmm. Saturday was all, the church pretty much had one ministry, and that was the motorcycle ministry at that particular time. So the whole church kind of supported what the motorcycle ministry did. After about the third year, the fourth year, going to this particular organization's pastors conference, we was leaving Atlanta, headed up to D.C. Somewhere along the line of like driving through a cloud, I pulled over and I said to the wife, this is our last time at this organization. Didn't know what I was saying, didn't know what I was going to do, didn't know where it was coming from. I say, God has called us to start a biker church. At that particular time, I had never heard of a biker church. I mean, I knew something was around, but I'd never heard of, didn't know what it looked like, didn't have a vision, didn't have an idea. Once we got to D.C., I was Googling biker church, and I think because I was in D.C., wasn't nothing coming up, so then I got scared. I got worried. I was like, okay, God done gave me this vision. You know, what are we going to do? So I kept Googling, kept searching, and finally another organization came up, which, you know, unfortunately I have to say, which was a great thing, but it was on the white side. Mm-hmm. So we found out, of course, there's plenty of biker churches on the white side. Mm-hmm. At that particular time, there wasn't any on the urban side. So as mentor training, we kind of was under them for about 2 years. And then in 2015, we just kind of said, okay, we ready. And that's when we started Queen City Biker Churches. It's been tough. It's been rough. Our community is still not grabbing. Mm-hmm. what it means and what it does. I mean, because if a lot of people in our community still don't know what a bike blessing is. They think that means blessing people out like
Right.
what the dominants do, and it's really not. So it's been fun.
Mhm.
It's probably been the most work I've done because it's like one of my mentor pastors one day who kind of don't get the biker thing. He says, "What's really the difference between a biker church and my church?"
That was
And
my
I
next question.
and I said the biggest difference is every time you travel, you're in a car,
Mhm.
air conditioning, heat. When I travel, whatever the elements is, I'm
That's
in
what
it.
it
Whether
is,
it's
right?
cold, whether it's hot, I have to show up on my bike. If it's pouring down raining, I'm on my bike. So that was something that's the biggest difference. And Queen City Biker Church, a lot of people don't know it. We're not a standalone church. We're actually under the Alliance of God, under Pastor Dr. Philip Pettis. So we do have an overseer. It's about 7 or 8 pastors oversee. They don't know what we do, but but we do have an overseer, which is a good thing. But it's just been something that I tell people this. When you look at what we do as a church, our doors is open
Mhm.
for any and everybody that's looking for a home. We're definitely different. The key for us as a biker church is we really more of what you would call an outreach church. Because mostly everything we do technically is outside of the church.
Mhm.
We decided to start the church so that those who was looking for something that looked like them, sounded like them, talked like them, acted like them could have a comfortable place to come home. Because it's great that we have different diverse churches. That's why
Right.
there's Baptists and Presbyterians and Prophets, and that's great because people fit the church that molds them.
Mhm.
So with Queen City Biker Churches, even though we're a biker church, we really geared more to people who may not be comfortable with regular church. May not be kind of comfortable. I kind of say some things different that probably most pastors well, I couldn't even in my old organization get away with, but I know my audience.
Right.
I know my target zone.
Mhm.
So I know how to speak to them uh, the way that the Bible is saying it, because we verse by verse, but I know how to kind of twist it to where I'm talking directly to the Bible.
So yeah, Pastor Sally and I, we always talk about, I always talk to her about, she start with people where they are
Right,
because she want them to understand. Just like me being a doctor, we always talk about. I don't try to talk over somebody's head
right,
because if we do, they won't learn anything. They won't know what we're
correct,
talking about. So,
correct.
like I say, you have to be, willing to kind of, talk to people where they are at that
Right.
point, and they will respect you a lot better. And
Right,
they will you will let them know that, hey, I know what you're talking about.
right.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah,
I haven't been a pastor all my life.
right.
Yeah, so.
I tell my wife don't like it when I tell this story. I tell it too much, but I try to let people know I'm just a biker like you. I was biking before. When I went to seminary, I hid the fact that I was a biker. They knew I was a biker, but they never seen me in leather, never seen me in nothing but what a seminary student looked like. One Saturday I woke up gorgeous. It was pretty. I'm like, okay. Threw on my leather pants, leather shirt, threw on my cuts. I jumped on the scoot, took off, went to school, and the bike was shining pretty. So I parked it kind of like right in the front. They had a vote. After I'd been there about 2.5 years, they actually voted me out of seminary
What?
because they didn't feel like I looked at pastoral, which of course I don't. I don't wear suits till this day.
Right.
I
You
wear
wear rockers and
yeah, right.
jeans in
Even
your
when I
church.
and that's one of the greatest things about what has happened because even though our church is fairly new, just got off the ground, we've already married like 5 different biker couples. Whether I knew them personally or not, they finally, and that's what I tell people about our church. We finally given bikers something to call their own.
Mm-hmm.
This is y'all's. I'm just over. And I actually have a board, so they can probably vote me out anytime. I'm just kind of like the guy that's over it to give you guys a place to have your own. We can dedicate your babies. We can marry you. We can bless your homes. Whatever you need in a church, you now have someone that not only understands you, not only knows what you go through, not only knows what it's like to be out there on that road 18, 20 hours, knows what it's like to be in the rain, the snow, the heat. I done been in all the elements.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I done 27,000 miles last year. If you look on my vest, I got my 100,000 mile patch. I did 100,000 miles on one bike. So I've been out there. So, you know, when bikers talk, I'm a generational biker. You know, my dad's a biker, so I come out of the bike world. So and that's our main goal. And I can never say it enough. Of course, everybody knows we do, you know, technically one of the largest biker blessings, definitely in the city, but also probably in the state. We don't really do a biker Sunday because it's kind of hard. But, you know, we just want bikers to know, first of all, Jesus do love you. He loves you in that place that you are. The key is you have to accept Jesus in the place that you are. Because he's already took you to the cross. I mean, he's already took all this stuff you worried about and crying over. He done took you to the cross for you. So all you got to do now is just come to him as you are. You know, now I don't wear like my colors to church because, you know, I'm loyal to Harley Davidson. So my suits are the button-down Harley Davidson shirt. I like to brag about that. I think I am the nice-looking biker pastor out there. You know, so I kind of have to dress good enough to, you know, let people see, you know, I am nice, you know.
Say, I clean up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I do clean up.
So tell me this, why do you think we as bikers get so much stigma and, you know, why are people quick to stereotype us?
You know, it's because I won't say it's the media, but it's because of the way we look at our attitude. You know, being a biker, you got to have an attitude. I mean, you got to remember, every time you get on that bike, that can be your last time with life. So you do have a little attitude being a biker. You do have a little control. You do have a little authority. I mean, and that's a good thing. But, you know, there is the good side and the bad side. The media is never going to talk about us, but they're going to always talk about what they see as bad. So when people see that, it intimidates them as far as bikers in whole. You know, because even myself, I mean, you know, I'm a pastor. I'm college educated. You know, I might not act like it, you know. But people do look at that differently. Even when I have been invited to other churches because I had that transition where I still had invitations from other church and people didn't know. But I showed up as, you know, Queen City Biker Church pastor, and they'd be like, excuse me. You know, but I've actually had to leave a church one time from sitting up there being the guest speaker because of that. So I think people they go by what they forget that when you look at bikers, there's school teachers, there's principals, pastors, doctors, lawyers, engineering. But, you know, we all look the same when we're together. Yeah. I mean, we all look like we're in a pack. I mean, we wear our biker boots. We got chains hanging down. We got rings all over the place. You know, but then there is that other side of what we have to go through. Until you get into it, you really don't understand that it's the same thing that you have on your job. It's law and order. And we call it on the bike set protocol. We have to follow that protocol. Yeah. That's what makes us a unit that just like a train. You know, we got one caboose behind another, and we just follow that caboose. And we need that. Even though we can see when we don't have it, it can get a little disturbing. But when you look at bikers, we believe in that respect. We believe in unity and family. Yeah, we get kind of distant sometimes, and I pray every day that I hope that's what we do as Queen City Biker Church. We try to bring everybody together. I was telling somebody today about our bike blessing. If it was up to me, I wish I could say no colors, but I know I don't have that authority. Because I want everybody to feel at home. This is y'all's. This belongs to you. It's not about what you got on your back. It's about who you are as a person. Meet somebody that you don't know. Greet and love and hug and share that harmony, because that's what Jesus and the disciples did. You know, they went into territories that they didn't know people. Right. And they just walked in with a smile, even though they knew they were finna be attacked walking in. They still walked in happy. They still walked in with a purpose and a mission and the passion of doing what the Father called them to do. And that's what we try to do as Queen City Biker Church. We want bikers to understand, I know you're a teacher, or a doctor, or a principal, or a nurse. Bring that here. So people can see that your life can uplift somebody. Because, you know, unfortunately, you probably got, when you do a percentage, you probably got more bikers that don't have a college degree than do. That biker is their outlet in life. You know, for me, that bike is my outlet in life. I mean, like I tell people, I need my motorcycle. I need it because it takes me to that place that only God and my bike can take me. And because they're now together, it just frees my mind and opens who I am. It produces me. I mean, I usually try to ride on Saturdays before I preach on Sundays because it just gives me that, it's like I can see a tree with one leaf and there's a word. And God just does that. And that's kind of what we do. That's kind of the passion behind what we are.
And it's just a totally, like, people don't understand that are not bikers, but being a biker and, being a civilian is like a totally different.
Totally different.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Totally different.
So do you have any things that you would like to see being changed in the biker community?
Without getting in trouble. One of the things I would like, I would like to see us, we throw the word family around. I would really like to see us become a stronger family. Probably like most bikers, I hate seeing pop-up clubs. I would love for us to deal with the situations, deal with the issues, deal with the problems in that club and stay that solid unit. Michael Jordan didn't win championships till he got that solid unit. Then he was unstoppable. So I would love for us to see that we are going to have a different vision, a different avenue, a different walk. We talk different. But if we stay together as that solid unit, how much difference we can make if we bring all those different characters and vision just for that one cause or whatever we do. So for me, I would love it if we could be that true family that we say we are. Come together for safe, fun, great character events. Opportunity for men to bring their sons and daughters and bring their families. Like we used to do in the old days. Like they call it the old camp meeting. The bikers can have that old style camp meeting. And we need to get back to that. We need to show that's where we get rid of that stigma. If we show the community, hey, we great fathers, we love our wives and kids and grandparents and all that. We bring our kids to certain events. We just show that uplifting side. That's what I would really love. If I could do anything, I would love for us to become a solid family.
Speaking of family, let's talk about balance with the family and being a biker. Do you think is it hard from your experience?
Yeah, it's very hard because I'm in a motorcycle man. I ride with Kingdom Knights. But even in a motorcycle ministry, there's times that something has to sacrifice. If you definitely MC, there's truly times that something have to sacrifice. The key is knowing the people that you ride with can understand, okay, this weekend my daughter has an event, okay, I can't make this. Because, in our community we believe in that support thing. So that's important for us to get to where we need to the next level of growth in our organization. So it's a struggle for a lot of people. Unfortunately, one of the things that me and the wife, we try to change is we try to let people see you can be a biker and be married. Because, bikers, if they did a survey, besides the military and truck drivers, we probably third or fourth on the list for divorce.
I was gonna say it's kind of hard out there in the bike world,
So we try to show people that you can be a strong family. Because you got to have something to talk about when you go home anyway. So share that journey together. So that balance it is hard. It is. Yeah. It's probably more easier for me, but even myself, especially when I was at the other church, there was really times that I had to decide between the patch and the church. Even though we was motorcycle ministry, I still had to decide. You got to remember, what we do mostly is outside the church. The places we had to go was not at the church. There was a lot of times I had to make that decision between patch and church. Now, for me, on the personal side, it's more easy now because when I leave, I take the church with me. We can ride, we bikers. Hey, y'all, we got this event, such. So it's a little bit easier now. But I still have to pick and choose what I do because, I can't be gone but, I don't know, was it 4 or 5 Sundays a year. So, but if I didn't have that guideline rules, we probably wouldn't be a functioning church because, knock on wood, God has blessed me to be someone that's known across the countries So I get a lot of events all over the place.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of times I have to say no. Compared to if it wasn't that balanced, I could always say yeah.
So you have to be in your church a certain amount of time on Sundays? Is that what you're saying? You
Yeah.
have, it's a certain amount of Sundays you have to be in there ministering?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure the board would say go ahead and go, but
Yeah.
I'm sure they wouldn't. I mean, I did have a board member say to me, "You be traveling too much. You need to be in church."
So, we're talking about family, and you know that saying, being equally yoked. So, how important do you think it is for your mate to be interested in motorcycles, just as yourself? Do you think that?
I think it helps, but my wife is she too. When we first got together, that was not her thing. She wasn't interested. But in the dating process, because I went from a period where I didn't have a bike at all because I was a single parent.
Mhm.
So I didn't get back on a motorcycle. But in that dating process, I always said to her, as soon as my baby graduates,
Getting the bike.
I'm getting a motorcycle. I come from a biker family. I had a bike. I'm getting back. So I constantly said that. So she wasn't like on board at first. It was like, yeah, just get a motorcycle. So, but when the bike came home, it was like, oh, he done bought a motorcycle.
Wait a minute. Did you not tell her you was going to get a motorcycle?
I was looking.
Mrs. Sellers, don't listen to this.
Me and my baby was looking. The baby daughter, which was the last one to graduate, we was looking because I actually told her, your graduation present is daddy a motorcycle. So she knew I was going looking. And then I kind of showed her pictures of what I wanted. She didn't like anything that I brung home. So I did kind of have to just go by it. Of course, she rides her own now because she was the most horrible backseat rider you can ever find. And I just finally just kicked her off the backseat. You got two choices. You can get your own or stay at home.
What was she doing back there?
I have no idea. That's the question I want to know even to this day. But I honestly do, because there was that period before we had the motorcycle, and we did things, but we didn't do as much as we do now. I mean, I've done all the states before. I think I got 5 states left. I think she has 6 or 7. So those are states we've been through together. So we have seen the country together. We have traveled together. That's conversation at the hotel when we get home. That's conversation for our grandkids, that photo. So it is important because I've always taught this before, and I definitely teach it now. As a married couple, you need a hobby. When I do marriage counseling, I tell couples, I don't know what it is, don't care, you need a hobby. If you like to fish, y'all go fishing together. If you like to golf, you go golfing. If motorcycling, because it can get boring. Everyday life, you can kind of be like, okay, what do we do now? What do we do? Well, so me and the wife don't have that problem. Because if she wants a pair of shoes, we just jump on a motorcycle. We don't go in Charlotte to get the shoes. We just go. I mean, we got up one Saturday and wanted to go get lunch. We went to Cleveland, Ohio, and came back.
On the bike.
On the bikes.
Yeah.
So that's a journey that we shared together.
Right.
Especially when you get, kind of our age and the kids is gone now, you got grandkids. You need that something to do. And by the grace of God, motorcycling always gives you something to do. Because you really don't have to have a destination.
Right.
You just need the highway and a gas station.
That's right.
And once you put gas in it, when you get tired, you say, okay, now let's go back home. And it's that journey in between home and where you went that y'all done bonded. I mean, because sometimes we'll stop at a gas station, have no intentions of having a deep conversation, but it turns into one. Over something that we need to do, or we might talk about our investments or whatever we're talking about. It just comes out because we've spent those hours or either minutes together just riding in that journey. You need it. I tell every married couple that want to ride a motorcycle, call me. We got the organization for you.
And we're definitely going to dedicate this show to Mr. Warren today. Let's talk a little bit about community, like community service that you've done. Or you got things you got coming up.
we're kind of transitioning a lot of our community service. Of course, we still do. Of course, our number one community thing that we do is for the bike community. We call it the Bikers Family Union Biker Blessing. That's April the 21st. We're teaming up with all the Eagles. We're definitely looking for that. We do our back to school drive, which we include the whole biker community. We're kind of changing the name of that a little bit. We're going to now call it Family, Friends, and Fun Day. Once again, I'm still throwing family in there. And then coming in November, we're doing our first Bikers Marriage Retreat. So we're kind of excited about that. We're looking forward to that. One of the things that we try to do more than anything, we like to support the clubs. We try not to do too much because I can't commit to a lot. So we figured out about 7 years ago, it's easier for us to, when we see clubs got stuff, to make donations and help them.
Okay.
Because a lot of times, because even then they'd be like, Pastor, can you come do such and such? Can you come do such? So now if we've already got something on the calendar, once again, there's that balance. I'm kind of pulled away from that. So for us, but that's very important to our community. Like I said, we teaming up with all the Egos. We'll be doing a charity ride for lupus. Our organization, the Kingdom Knights, we've always supported Redeeming Joy right here locally in Charlotte. They fight sex trafficking. You looked them up, very great organization. This year, we're doing a scholarship fund ride. We're kind of going up in the air about that because I'm wanting it to be geared towards African American males. They want it to be for anybody, but we still gonna do the scholarship charity ride. So that's kind of what we do. It's important to us to do that. And once again, for me, everything's about family. It's important for us to do family-oriented events. I like to do oriented events where men can come out and see men fellowship. Last year, at our back-to-school drive, we had, one of the things we did different for our back-to-school drive, we went and sought out organizations that if we didn't help them, they didn't get nothing. We had an organization that came. They had to sit in the corner. They wasn't allowed to fellowship. Nobody could take pictures to them. Only like 2 or 3 people was allowed to talk to them. One of the young men actually said, and I think he was 16 or 17, but he said this was the first time in his life that he saw black men hugging and laughing and shaking hands together. That brought tears to my eyes.
Oh, man.
That right there was worth everything for him to say he's never seen that. Where he come from, we always not agreeing.
Right.
So at that teenage age was the first time he had ever seen African American males hugging, laughing, and shaking hands, embracing each other.
Look, and what a great way to end our show, because that is our time. I want to thank you for joining us.
Yes, ma'am.
I want you to please come back.
We will.
I knew it was not going to be enough time. And I want to thank you all for joining me, my show Enlightenment, right here on the Wake Up Call Radio and TV Network. Growing, y'all, growing. I keep saying that, and winning. Thank you.